Sports Chill football experience, and let's bring it right up to Buffalo. Guys, are you guys wearing socks right now?
Can't say I am.
I'm wearing socks. It's a little cold in here.
Yeah, well, Dave, you better watch your back because Rex Ryan might be looking after you after his 33-18 win against the Cardinals. Shout out to Naskin and Bills Mafia going up there, taking over the Snapchat. Honestly, I wanted to be there with them. LaShawn McCoy, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Williams scored on a return botch field goal that took it back for 53 yards. And the Buffalo Bills just absolutely destroyed. Bruce Arians was sent home crying. I know he hasn't slept yet because I don't think that guy sleeps anyways. So shout out to Nasky and the boys. And the chicks. There were some chicks on there too.
Yep.
Some of them pretty cute. Just saying. Just saying if you got, just saying. Great job by Bills Mafia. Let's move on because we had a pretty upsetting day for the teams that actually played in New Jersey. Not a great day for the G-men. Let's start with their heartbreaking loss. They lose 29-27. They had 11 penalties, 128 yards. Yeah. Eli threw 2 disastrous interceptions. Vereen had a fumble. He's even out with a tricep injury now, too, until maybe December. Then we have Odell Beckham Jr. crying on the sideline, kicking nets, getting hit back in the face with it. Mark, tell me who is to blame for the loss because I am livid.
Yeah, I mean, most people wanted Eli. They want to take him and hang him out to dry for the loss, but I think it's a total team effort as far as the penalties, the turnovers, like you said. They had the turnovers in the last game as well. They had 3 turnovers against the Saints, but they were able to come away with the victory. This time, it wasn't enough. Eli with 2 really bad interceptions in the fourth quarter. The first one was more on Will Tye than it was on Eli. Tye didn't run his route really correctly, and Eli could have had Odell in the corner of the end zone on that play, but the last one he threw to Vereen where he thought, all right, Giants get the ball back. It's Eli time. It's fourth quarter, final drive. He's going to come down and get the field goal. They're going to win the game. And he throws that pick that the rookie picked off that he was intended for Vereen was pretty bad. You can't blame Eli. I think it's a full team effort, but they just didn't execute. They didn't get the job done. The turnovers, as you mentioned, and the penalties, I think it was a combined factor of all that. But you still thought that Eli was going to be able to pull it out, and unfortunately he didn't.
Yeah, and what really is people aren't saying, no one's mentioning it. I've listened to the radio podcast, yeah. TV. No one's saying that Eli Apple went out in the third quarter with an injury, and then DRC also left the game. We didn't have 2 of our best cornerbacks playing. That's pretty big. That really is big. I was already I jumped the gun a little bit. In the second quarter, I was thinking, maybe I should make some "How do you like them apples" with Eli's number on the back shirts. Maybe we're going to have to shelf those for a little bit. But now that Vereen's out for a little bit, maybe we'll get some shirts that says Darkwing Duck because Dark was going to be in the backfield. Now that, Dave, apparently Vereen's out?
Yeah, he tore his tricep. The news came out on, early Monday, which is a huge blow for them because besides for the fumble, I think he had a good game, stepped in really nice for, Rashad Jennings there. And he's one of those guys that the Giants, 2 seasons ago now, the Giants signed him as a free agent. Yeah. And he's pretty much done exactly what, he was brought in to do, catching passes out of the backfield, giving you that little burst, running the ball up the middle. So the Giants are definitely going to miss him, but I think, like you guys mentioned, it's definitely Orleans Darkwa time.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen from Darkwa, and I mentioned, I mean, obviously last year when they kind of had that 4-back split and they didn't know who was going to be their lead back, and eventually they decided with Jennings. I was calling for Darkwa to be the lead guy last year. He looked good. He hits the hole hard. He hits it fast. He's someone that even now he's averaging about 5.5, 6 yards per carry. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they give this guy 20, 25 carries, if he's going to be that lead guy. I think he could get 100, 120 yards if he's getting enough of those carries. And it's going to be interesting to see because Vereen's probably out for the year. Jennings isn't the long-term solution at running back, and we know that. So between Darkwa and Paul Perkins, the rookie, those are the 2 guys that are looking to shoulder the load for the future. So Darkwa might finally get his chance this week. And they have Bobby Rainey as well that they kind of throw some passes to and whatnot. But I'm really interested to see, and I'm excited to see if Darkwa can get those carries and what he'll be able to do with those.
Yeah, and my biggest problem, besides the penalties, because I'll get into that later, was the fact that Eli's throwing the ball to guys that look like an everyday guy, like
Yeah.
Amir or you. When you're throwing to people forget that Will Ty's name actually means determined mediocrity. Think about it for a second. And Bobby Rainey out there trying to catch the ball. I'm pretty sure he's my height.
Yeah.
Don't throw the ball to Odell Beckham. Throw the ball to him 17 times. I know he was targeted 11 times, but that's not enough. He's the best. Like he went into Hulk mode yesterday,
Yeah.
and when you see that's insanity in his eyes, throw him the ball because no one's gonna stop him. He had the spin move on Norman. I'm running around my house getting pumped up. I'm pretty sure the guy was legitimately tearing. That's how badly he wanted a regular season game. You gotta love that from him. He had 7 catches for 121 yards. Shepard still doing his thing, catches the ball over the middle, even gets hit by Norman, who cannot be trusted, especially with those 2 first names. 5 catches for 73 yards for Shepard. Cruz stays solid, 3 catches for 70 yards. And then the ground game. The ground game was good. And like you said, I think Darkwa, it can be solid. Giants had 120 yards on the ground, and I think they will be fine without him on the ground. In the air, throwing the ball to running backs, I don't think Darkwa's that kind of back.
No, he's not.
It looks like we're going to be seeing a little bit of Bobby Rainey, which makes me a little upset. But
I mean, Rainey, he's kind of like a Sproles type. He's got that same mold, and he's a good pass catcher. So he's someone that is good for a third down and long or whatever. He's someone that come out of the backfield. But you mentioned, I mean, they threw a stop and go to Bobby Rainey. He actually ran the route pretty well, and Eli underthrew him. But in the end zone there, why are you not throwing the ball to Odell Beckham? And the couple plays at the end of the third into the fourth quarter, they start throwing it to Beckham, and all of a sudden, like you said, you were running around your house. Everyone at the bar was running around. Everyone at the stadium was loud. It gets everyone into it when Odell's in the game. All of a sudden, he has a spin move. He has that one-handed catch on the sidelines. That's what the Giants need. I know you don't want to force the ball into him, but I'd rather you force the ball to Odell Beckham instead of to Will Ty and Bobby Rainey and those type of guys. So Eli's got to spread a little bit more around, but get it to Beckham a little bit more. Get him involved early and often, and I think it'll be a little bit of a different offense if that happens.
Yeah, and you're not going to win back-to-back games when you lose the turnover ratio. Again, they had 3 turnovers, and the Redskins had 1. And it honestly, you have dumb plays like our man that we paid, what's the guy's, whatever. We had a late hit on a few late hit calls.
Yeah, Olivier Vernon had a rough in the pass that he hit the helmet on Cousins. So
his name went out of my mind because he's another man with 2 first names, and he cannot be trusted either right now. And go ahead,
I was
Dave.
going to say, speaking of penalties, but one thing I really didn't understand is how Weston Richburg got ejected. The 2 personal fouls, especially the second one. I mean, at the worst, maybe you give him a penalty for that, but to give him a personal foul, which throws him out of the game, I really couldn't understand that. And me not even being a Giants fan, that was frustrating to see because when it's such a stupid call by the ref, and that changes things now. I mean, me being a Jets fan, I know that if Nick Mangold's not in the game, one of the most important players on the field for the Jets, honestly, that changes things around in the center for any team, whether it's a Mangold or a Richburg or anybody else. That's a big loss when you have your starting center not in the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, the ref was honestly a little bitch. That's how football's played. You push people. You don't get pulled. Yeah. You shouldn't get thrown out of the game for pushing someone. You should get pulled out of the game. And they told Odell Beckham and Josh Norman before the game if they were throwing hands that they were going to get ejected, and that's fine. I respect that. But a late push was the difference between their starting center being in and out. Complete BS, horse manure, total nonsense.
All right. I mean, that, like you said, when you see the play, it kind of hits him in the back. It was probably like a ruffian blow or unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't think it was that buff. It was just unnecessary roughness. It's not that big of a deal. Or a block in the back. It's a 10-yard penalty. It's not worth an ejection for that. It's not. I mean, I think the hit was on Norman. I think that's why. And I know the NFL had their microscope on that matchup with Beckham and Norman the entire game. But the fact that, like you said, to lose your center like that, that's a huge play. And with that and losing Eli Apple, again, there's no excuses. You get the job done at the end of the day. But that definitely didn't make it any easier on them.
Definitely not. All right, let's move on before I have a heart attack. The Jets lose 24-3 in Arrowhead. Kind of like I predicted. I'm not really happy to say it, but I said it was going to be 24-0. So, maybe I'll pat my back a little bit. Ryan Fitzpatrick was putrid. He wasn't pulling any bunnies out of his hat on Sunday. 20 for 44, career high 6 interceptions, which is the most for a QB since 2007. Now I'm going to ask a very serious question. Dave, is it time for Geno?
No, definitely not. No way it's time to go to Geno. I think that, as bad as Fitzpatrick looked, you had to look at the offense as a whole. I mean, the receivers, you had Marshall was banged up. He was trying his best to be out there. Anunwa was really a minimal factor at best. And you had the most healthy guy really on the offensive side of the ball, Eric Decker, only having one catch out there. So I think there was a lot of different factors that went into Fitzpatrick's 6 picks. Most of them up here in the brain. I don't know what he was thinking, but still, as much as the blame falls on him, it falls on some of the other guys also. So it's definitely not Geno time.
And again, I don't think it's Geno time for the rest of the season, but I think in the middle of that game, and especially in the fourth quarter in the game, Fitzpatrick, I don't know if he looked disinterested or what, but those last 2 picks, they had the pick 6 and the one after that, he just kind of threw towards the sideline. There a lot of mistakes, it feel like he was just, his head was not in the game. So it was questioned. I mean, if you were a coach there, would you have put Geno Smith in that game just because it looked like you needed kind of a change of scenery, change of something there for the quarterback position, because Fitzpatrick did not look into it. The Jets weren't able to really get anything going on offense, and he just looked like he was spaced out and he couldn't throw a beach ball into the ocean. And then now you're asking him to fit these windows against the Chiefs secondary, which is one of the best in football. So would you have put in Geno Smith for the end of the game yesterday? Because you say, there's kind of in those garbage time interceptions, but it was still 17-3 late in that game when he still throws the pick 6 and then a pick after that.
Yeah, I'm going to put that one on Bowles. You have to know when to bench your quarterback when he needs it. I would have put in Geno just for that kind of mental reset of Fitzpatrick. Let him come back fresh versus Seattle, kind of sit on the bench and think about some of the decisions he's made. And the crazy part about the game was that the Jets were in it. The Jets were in it for just about 3/4 of the game. It was 17-3. And I was really thinking, especially with the 2 interceptions right in the end zone, I thought I was watching an instant replay on them because they were almost identical picks, that if they could have just converted on one of those scores, 17-10, and now the Jets were getting stops on defense. They were able to get the Chiefs' offense off the field, and you can't say the Jets' offense didn't have their shots. They definitely did. They had a bunch of drives that were long drives that went deep into Chiefs' territory, and they just couldn't get it done. So I would have said Geno.
Okay, yeah, I agree. And there's 3 things I have to say about this game. First thing, for God's sake, Bilal Powell was the leading receiver with 41 yards. And when you have that kind of connection between your quarterback, and you said it yourself, that he was having mental mistakes. The Harvard man was having mental mistakes. You got to take him out at that point. Number 2, Eric Decker with 1 catch. Someone tweeted that Eric Decker needed to be more involved in this game. Gotta love it. His wife quoted the tweet and said, "I agree." Gotta love when family members do that. A la Michael Vick's brother, a la name it. Yada, yada, yada. Number 3, I'm going to put a little bit of blame on Larry David. Here's why. Larry David goes into training camp and tells Ryan Fitzpatrick to cut the beard. Who the hell is Larry David to tell Ryan Fitzpatrick to cut his beard? That's on Larry David right there. The beard was magical. I mean, I think it was a huge disadvantage for Fitzpatrick. People can see where you can even see his eyes when he had that burly of a beard. And that's really what I have to say about the Jets. I was too busy soaking about. I was actually running around my house with the Giant game, so I wasn't totally invested in the Jets game this week because they were on at the same time. But I saw the end of the game, and it didn't look pretty. And every single time I flipped over to the red zone during the commercial breaks, it didn't look good either. So, unfortunate for our New Jersey Jets and New Jersey Giants because, maybe the Bills are the real team in New York playing all the way up in Buffalo. Okay.
Shout out to the Chiefs defense, though, by the way, because I did have them in 2 of my leagues. Well, this is the thing. I had Carson Palmer.
Mark, no one cares about your fantasy team.
No, they do. Because
I thought we established this last week.
Carson Palmer with the duds with 4 points. I had Chiefs in a FanDuel lineup as well, which you got to give the shout out to James with the FanDuel. So I had him in there. So I was excited because when they were scoring touchdowns, I'm up there running around clapping. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and to speak on the FanDuel for a second, I got another 120, exactly the same amount of points as last week,
Yeah.
124.8, which got me in the 50-50. I was fine. I wasn't in the top 20% this week. But whatever. I still won more money than I lost this week doing FanDuel. But you know, one thing I really pissed off about, I played Travis Benjamin over Landry, which I could have won a few $100. So that's on me. But just we're gonna keep on grinding. We're up. I'm up over $140 on the year, so we're just gonna keep on grinding. We're just gonna keep on grinding.
Keep rolling.
Exactly. Okay. And for the new segment, we're gonna thing. It's gonna be called the little. Hey man, what were you thinking? Mark, why don't you start it off?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it within the local games. Watching Kirk Cousins at the end of the second quarter, he's by the goal line. The Redskins have a chance to get a field goal. I think there's about 6 seconds left, and they have one more play. So do they run the play, or do they, just take the knee, kick the field goal, whatever? They run a play, and in that instance, the one thing you can't do is take a sack. You throw the ball out of the end zone, you throw it wherever you want, or you just throw it into the ground. Kirk Cousins trying to make something happen. Luckily for the Giants, JPP comes around the edge. He sacks them. Time runs out, and they end up not able to get any points on the board. And if the Giants actually come back with the game-winning drive at the end and Eli gets them down the field and they kick the field goal, I think that's what's going to be the most talked about point about that game, because those points left on the board would have had the Giants come away with a victory. But luckily for the Redskins, it ended up working out, and unluckily for the Giants. But that was, I don't know what type of play was that. Kirk Cousins, what were you thinking, man?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it with those New York-based teams. Going up to Buffalo, though, I think this might have been the biggest play of the game. Mike Leach, the long snapper for Arizona, airmails one, right over the placeholder's head. You have Chandler Catanzaro trying to go. He gets pushed over. Buffalo gets a scoop and score. And, Arizona's one of those teams that just stacks on. Once they get rolling, they're stacking on points. And I really felt like that field goal might have propelled them to pull off the big comeback in Buffalo, but it wasn't meant to be. So, Mike Leach, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was thinking, how does my ass look in these pants right now?
Possible.
All right. Hey man, what were you thinking? Is to Andrew Adams, the special teams guy for the New York Giants. The Giants get a block. They block a punt, and the Redskins get a penalty on the play, but we have Andrew Adams, whose name is kind of similar to two first names, so he shouldn't have even been on the field in the first place. 55 yards down the field, knocking another Redskins player totally out of bounds. He said that he had no idea that it was blocked, but dude, it was the most egregious thing I saw all week. And hey man, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, with those plays with the special teamers, you never think how deep the roster actually goes, but those special teams plays can turn a game. And like you said, that penalty definitely turned the game there. And I want to just make a quick honorable mention, because I'm not sure if you guys have read this story, but for the Browns, I know the Browns-Dolphins game, a lot of people had the Dolphins in their survivor pool going ahead this week, so everyone was kind of focused on that game. And Pat Murray, their kicker for the Browns, he got hurt on Friday, so the Browns had to sign someone to come along. So they were thinking about Robbie Gould. They said he was too expensive, so they got Cody Parkey, who I know Dave knows because he's an Eagles fan from the years that he was probably one of the worst kickers in the league. He was a Pro Bowl kicker as a rookie, then all of a sudden he completely fell off the earth. So they signed him to save some money, and they didn't actually get a chance to see him kick. So before they sign him, they fly him out to Ohio. The coaches there weren't able to get a chance to watch him actually try out because they had to fly down Miami, so they missed the timing on that. So he flies down to Miami, and the first time they actually see him kick is during warm-ups of the game. So think about that. They don't even see it. They don't even have a full tryout for this guy. He comes on. He misses 3 field goals. I know they were all around the 40-yard range, which were pretty long, but he ends up missing the potential game winner with no time remaining, and then Miami comes on the field and wins the game in overtime. So that's just an honorable mention. Cleveland
That's
Browns.
unbelievable.
What were you thinking?
Awful.
The epitome of the Browns. The epitome of the Browns.
That's Browns football.
That is Browns football. And you touched on the Eagles a little bit. You said the E word, so I might as well ask Dave. Dave, are the Eagles the best team in the NFL right now?
This one's hard. I think there's no clear cut yes or no. I'm leaning towards no right now. As sound as they are, and I hope you guys ran that tape back when we were talking about it, because I said I wasn't on the Pittsburgh train. Everyone's all over them, and I was not one of those guys. It's amazing the way that the Eagles really beat them in every facet: offense, defense, special teams. They literally did nothing. I mean, if you had Big Ben, Antonio, D'Angelo, all these guys in fantasy, you probably were very upset after that game. Yeah. But I can say that at this point, the Eagles are the best team. They're one of 5 undefeateds, and Minnesota, a team that the Giants actually traveled to Monday night, they're looking along the same lines. One of the best defenses in the league, if not the best defense. They really haven't skipped a beat since AP's gone down. And they're playing with Sam Bradford, who came from the Eagles, and he's dropping dimes to Kyle Rudolph, to Stephon Diggs. So at this point in time, the Eagles are not the best team, but they got to be in that top 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at, I know the first 2 games, they were 2-0 going into this game. This was kind of a barometer game for them to see, against the Steelers, who a lot of people had as, in the top 5 of the power rankings or whatever you want to say. They all of a sudden come out and they destroy the Steelers. And Carson Wentz, who's the football Ginger Jesus, like our own Ginger Jesus on the Yankees, he was out there he's slinging the ball. He looks good. He looks like the real deal. And the one play he had to Darren Sproles for the long touchdown where he gets out of the pocket, he scrambles. He actually doesn't take off running. He stands behind the line of scrimmage. He was about to cross it. He dumps the ball over to Sproles, turns it into a long gain. That was really impressive for a rookie to have that poise in that pocket. So they're definitely someone that looks like they could be a really good team. I know it's still early in the season. I kind of wrote them off thinking rookie quarterback, and the Giants were going to run away with this division. I didn't think the Redskins were going to be that good, and the Cowboys weren't going to be that good. So they look good. I don't think they're the best team in NFL. I think that's still the Patriots. They're still getting the job done, but I definitely think the Eagles are for real.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you, Mark. I think that and the Eagles are they're legit. Carson Wentz. It's always sunny in Philadelphia right now. For sure. I think he's gonna be great. I hate saying that being a Giants fan. Like I really do hate saying that. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's trash. I mean, I don't hope anything bad on him, but I hope the Eagles lose every single game until eternity. But yeah, no, the Patriots are the best team in the NFL, and I don't care if it's me or you playing quarterback for the Patriots week 4. They might even kneel on it this week. But you know what? Actually, I have a question for you. Or maybe a rhetorical question. Maybe they should go out and get Brett Favre. Throw him in some Wrangler jeans if he doesn't want to get out of those pants, and just let him sling it for week 4 before Tom Brady comes back. Any thoughts on that? Yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see some Brett Favre. Why not?
Yeah. I'm tired of seeing Brett Favre. Enough's enough. He has the gold jacket already, and enough's enough, man. Let him sit in the hall. Let him do his regular commercials.
All right, fine.
Let him do his whatever. Enough.
All right, fine. Then the people really do want to see Edelman anyways. Okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. Patriots, Eagles, they can both go to hell. All right, now let's go to the previews for this week. Let's go chronological, and first we have the Bills and the Patriots. Who do you guys have winning this one?
I got Pats.
I'm gonna go with the Pats too. I know you said they could throw anybody out there at quarterback. I think they will. I think Brissett will eventually be the one that plays. I know he had the torn ligament in his thumb or whatnot, but I think he goes out there and plays. I think the defense gets it done. I think they take care of Buffalo.
And you know what? I'm gonna disagree with you guys because unless Brett Favre is playing in that game, then we will have Bills Mafia winning on Sunday because you know what? I really, really just have a feeling that the Patriots they might just take it back a little bit because they're like thinking like we're doing too good right now. You never want to peak too early. Belichick knows this. The genius savant football coach knows this better than anybody else. You don't want to peak too early. So maybe they'll just throw a little knee on the Bills, let Bills Mafia go nuts. I know they're in the same division. I know it's a little crazy to think, but Belichick's done some crazy things in his life. So Bills are going to win this game 17-14. All right. Now we got next the Jets at home against the Seahawks. Thank God they're home. What do you guys got?
Yeah, I don't see the Jets coming out with this one. I know that Russell Wilson's status a little bit up in the air. I think he's going to play. Whether he's 100% or not, I highly doubt that. I think it's a sprained MCL. But no Thomas Rawls. He's going to be another month. And honestly, they really don't need him. Kristen Michael's looking like a guy that knows he's on his last chance in the NFL. If this doesn't pan out here, he'll probably take another snap for another team. But even with that being said, I feel like I give the same preview every single week. I said that if the Jets could get in Alex Smith's grill and they could stop him, they'd have a chance to win. Even with a less mobile Russell Wilson, I still don't see that happening for the Jets. I have Seattle walking out of MetLife with a win in this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle, I feel like their offense, was able to right the ship last week, put up some big points. Doug Baldwin had a big week. And you said Christian Michael looks like a man that's revived now. He looks good in the backfield for them. I think it's a close game. I think it's a little bit kind of a high-scoring end. I think it's like 27-21, 27-24, but I think the Seahawks are able to take it.
All right, well, I don't know when you guys are going to learn talking about Christian Michael. He has 2 first names. He's going to fumble the ball 2 times. The Jets are going to stay in that life. They're going to be fine. Fitzmagic's going to right the ship. The Jets are going to win 17-0. 17-0.
You love the shutouts. You love the shutouts.
Hey, it almost happened last week. I was pretty close. I said they were going to win by 24. They won by 21. So, hey, just you never know. And the last one, the Giants play the Vikings on Monday Night Football. Mark, why don't you start it off?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for me, I think it's going to be 0-3 for the New York teams this week. I think the Giants are going to lose. I think the Vikings defense is just too good. The offense on the Giants, I think they would be able to get a little bit going, but I think they're going to force into more turnovers. I think Darkwa could have a decent game. I know the front seven for the Vikings is tough, but I think Darkwa, if he does start, could produce some nice yardage, a good game for him. But I just don't think the Giants have enough to get it done. And unfortunately, it looks like they're going to be coming back 2-2.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs came back down to earth a little bit last week. 4 catches, 40 yards after his big explosion in week 2. But I can't see the Giants walking out of there with a win. I think that on Monday night, prime time, like Mark said, the Giants are going to walk in there, and the defense is just going to be too tough for them. I think that, I had Odell kind of having like his breakout big game last week, which never really came to fruition, and I don't see really any of the receivers standing out, although Shepard's always good for a touchdown, it seems, nowadays. But, yeah, I have Bradford continuing his hot play, and I have the Vikings defense solid. I got the Vikings winning this one.
All right, well, I'm going to throw a little segment inside a segment and say, you guys got to have a little bit of faith. Let's have a little bit of faith here. Okay, this is exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to draw it out right here. Sam Bradford, 2 minutes in, breaks his leg, out for season. Okay? Then you have the backup quarterback coming in. He's going to break his arm, out for season. Then they're going to have Jerick McKinnon come in, play quarterback. He is going to twist his thumb, so they're only going to be able to run the ball the entire game. Snacks is going to have 7 tackles on Monday Night Football. Odell Beckham is going to have 207 yards.
Wow.
And
Marvin
the Giants are going to beat the Vikings 27-3. Okay? So
did you play this in Madden? Is this from Madden?
You guys got to have some faith.
This sounds like a Madden game where you injure all the players on them and then eventually come away with the victory. So I like the positivity, James. And I mean,
you guys told me coming into this year that Sam Bradford would be and I didn't know we played 3 games already, so it's different. But if you told me at the beginning of the year that we were going to go into Minnesota and play Sam Bradford, and you were going to tell me, do I think the Giants are going to win? I would say absolutely. The Giants are going to win.
With Sam Bradford and with no AP either.
Yeah, exactly. Hashtag Giants pride. Homer.
I don't know if that's backwards, but that's for you, James, because you're just... Listen, I understand it's a sports chill, hashtag fire and everything, but it's just... You're the ultimate homer. You know it. You've acknowledged it before.
What did I say? Last week I said the Jets were going to lose 24-0. They lost.
And then you turned that around. I don't know if you had the Chiefs winning still. I know that
I didn't.
That was your Arrowhead prediction.
I made the game a little bit closer, but I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I said the Jets were going to lose.
The only way
I said last week that the Bills were going to lose, and they won.
The only way that Bills
Mafia... I got
Mafia...
faith in the New York teams. And that's why the segment's called, You Guys Got to Have Some Faith. You got to have some faith in these New York teams.
I'm going to tell you how Buffalo wins this week. You drive Nazca up to Foxborough. You let them do the Snapchat takeover again. Bills Mafia goes nuts, and then maybe they injure Brissett. He's out of the game, and then we see Edelman, okay? That's how that's going to.
What's the spread of the game? Do we have a spread?
I mean, the spread could probably change. You could probably look that up, Mark, if you want to check.
Look
tape.
it up because you know what's going to happen. I'll take the spread right now, and we'll bet anything you want. The Bills are covering this week. I'll tell you right now, and the Giants are covering, and the Jets are covering.
It's New England minus 4.5, 4.5 points.
So I would take
the points right now.
I agree with you. I would take Buffalo on the points also, but I'm just saying it doesn't mean that it's going to be a win because Buffalo has given the Pats a little bit of trouble in recent seasons. I think they've actually split a few season series, but even still, that's the only way Buffalo is going to win. Jets, they're going to need Trevor Boykin to come into this game if they're going to have a shot to win. And the Giants, listen, I'm not saying the Giants are going to get blown out. I think it's going to be a competitive, fun Monday night game. I just don't think they're going to walk out with a win.
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is you call me a homer. Last week I said that the Eagles were going to win by 17. They won by 15. That's not a homer thing. On Monday Night Football last week I said that the Patriots are going to win by 17. They won by 10. That's not a homer call. I just have a feeling in these New York teams. And you know what? Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I'm doing pretty good right now. So I'm going to knock on wood.
We'll have to see coming to this week.
Pretty good. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Last segment, we're going to do obviously our favorite segment.
Top five.
All right, and this week we're going to be doing top 5 favorite sandwiches. Dave, take it away.
All right, so when we kicked this thing off, we had this idea. I wasn't sure if we were going to go specific delis and you know, those traditional sandwiches, or if we're just going, you know, what we personally like. So I went with a few ones that I like. Coming in number 5, buffalo chicken. You got a little buffalo chicken in there. You got some hot sauce, and I'm a ranch over blue cheese guy. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I'm big time on the ranch. I see James shaking his head over there. Coming to number 5. Number 4, I got the roast beef and cheese. So many different variations of that. Always good stuff there. If maybe you want to throw a little onions, a little peppers in there. Philly cheesesteak, how you doing? I don't know. Pastrami, turkey, Russian, and coleslaw coming at number 3. Mark, yeah, I know you appreciate this one. Yeah. Gotta have the pickle on the side for it. So maybe...
Oh, you're a pickle guy.
Yeah. So some of my Jewish heritage coming out in here. Pastrami, turkey, you got the Russian, and you maybe on a nice rye bread. You know, why not? Coming in number 3. I got a question,
though. Like, are you a thick pickle guy or a skinny pickle guy?
Ooh. You know what? I kind of like the length over the girth. I gotta say.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah. Just saying. Number 2, not the most flashiest sandwich. You know, this is like that real grinder, that hard-nosed running back that gets it done. When you need him on 3rd and 1, 3rd and short, you put this guy in the game. He's almost, you know what? I'm gonna go with this. He's like this sandwich is the John Kuhn of sandwiches right here. You know, but he's a fan favorite out there. I think he's in New Orleans now, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Let's go honey turkey, lettuce, and mayo. 3 ingredients, simple, on a hero. Great beach sandwich. If you want to take it on the go, nice and easy. Turkey, lettuce, mayo. And at number 1, my all-time favorite, the chicken club. You got to get the nice breaded chicken cutlet in there. Throw some melted American, lettuce, tomato, mayo, some nice crispy bacon, and then you toast the bread. Solid choice at number 1. At least I think so, but I'm biased. It's my list. Chicken club at number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's pretty solid, and I'm not, I'm not as big as foodies as you guys are. Not to say anything about, I'm not trying to imply anything. I'm just saying, as far as
is that a shot?
You guys got sandwiches listed over there. I see James scribbling stuff out, so he's probably got like 25 listed right now that he's kind of crossing out his list as he goes across it. I think for me, I think they're gonna keep it simple. Number 5, the Italian hero. Nice and easy. You got the salami, the ham capicola, a little bit of everything. And if you want to go with the works, you go with the works. Lettuce, tomatoes, onions, little oil and vinegar, everything on there. What's the matter? No works for you?
No, I'll wait on it.
All right, yeah, this is my list. I can go. So I got the Italian at 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with just turkey provolone, basic sandwich. This is the one that, like you said, this is the one you got to get done. This is the goal line puncher. You get quick. You can give it to someone. You give it to someone the order. They're not going to mess it up. Turkey, provolone, lettuce, tomato, mayo. Throw it on a hero. Bring it to the beach. Do whatever you got to do with it. Number 3, I'm going to go with the roast beef and cheese. Not Arby's roast beef and cheese.
Never.
Not just cold roast beef.
You guys are roast beef.
Not the A word. Do not use the A word.
I'm not going to say No, listen.
Do you like boar's head? Are you saying boar's head?
Only boar's head.
Boar's head is good, but I'm saying for roast beef and cheese, you can't get it. Not at Arby's. You're not getting it at the deli. You're going to go to one of the places. You're going to go either to Brendan Carr's, which is all right, or Dave, talk to me.
Roll
Where else
roaster.
are you gonna go?
Roll
You
and
got to
roaster.
go to Roll and Roaster.
Gotta
If you're
go
going to
with
get some roast beef and cheese, got to go to Roll and Roaster. James, if you haven't been, we got to bring you over there because that's the spot
Yeah,
to go.
well, we might as well get a free sandwich out of this because
That's
we're
true.
plugging them.
But we'll get out there. We'll get our sponsorship. Number 2, I'm gonna go with chicken parm. It's definitely a go-to. It's not a beach sandwich. Something that's good for dinner. If you want some breakfast chicken parm, why not? It's a sandwich that's good for all the times. And the number 1, I know we never were talking about places or sandwiches. I'm gonna go with the Broadway, which is a sandwich over in Dom's Deli in Herrick's. This is the sandwich, and if you've never had it, you got to get out there as well. Shout out to my boys Pat McKenna, Brandon Rincon. I know they all have had it.
The boys.
The boys, they know the sandwich. As soon as I say you want a Broadway, they'll say absolutely. It's a chicken cutlet. It's prosciutto. It's fresh mozzarella. The hero bread there is amazing. A little bit of vinegar on there. It's honestly the best sandwich I've ever had in my life. So if you're ever in Herrick's in that area, New Hyde Park, go to Dom's Deli. That's what's up. Maybe we'll get a little sponsorship from them too. But that's the top 5 I got.
All right. Well, I'm crossing one out off my list because you just inspired me a little bit. All right, number 5, I'm going chicken parm. I just had one 25 minutes ago. So yeah, that's a staple for Italian Americans, Italians, whatever you want to say. Number 5, chicky pom pom. Number 4, we got. If you're going to the beach, like you said, you like to go to the beach with a sandwich. I like going turkey, but I don't know, a little bit more of a beefy guy. I want to get a little pepperoni in there as well with some American cheese, a little bit of mayo on a wedge. Maybe have a kiwi strawberry Snapple with it. Tastes pretty good. Maybe a bag of Doritos too. All right, but we're not doing
It's just
snacks.
sandwiches. Stay on track.
Okay.
What I say about the foodie, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Number 3 is something called the Amalfi Special, like on the Amalfi Coast. It's prosciutto, fresh mozzarella, and they do oil and vinegar. But like I said, I like a little bit of mayo. I'm a big mayo guy. People don't respect mayo enough, and they should be respecting mayo. Put a slab of mayo on there, and that's my number 3. Number 2, Italian combo with. And Mark, I'm sorry to say it, with absolutely no lettuce. If you're putting lettuce on an Italian combo, you're not a friend of mine. So we're gonna have a little discussion after this because
when else are you getting your vegetables and fruits and everything? You got to have it at least on your
greens
sandwich.
in. Get those.
Let me tell you something. I'm a huge broccoli guy.
All right.
They call me Broccoli Jim, but I've never had a piece of lettuce in my life. And number 1 is a bacon, egg, and cheese. I know it's a breakfast sandwich. It might be a little bit of a cheat move, but I had a bacon, egg, and cheese this morning. I had a bacon, egg, and cheese yesterday morning, and a bacon, egg, and cheese the morning before that. Maybe I should get my cholesterol checked, but if we're doing favorite sandwiches, yeah, bacon, egg, and cheese is number 1. It is the GOAT. So
it's a staple. Yeah. But the only thing I will say, and this might seem like a stupid question, I don't know, ketchup or no ketchup?
Ketchup.
Ketchup and hot sauce. That's what I go.
There you go. See, because I have people I know, I'm not going to call them friends, people I know that go no ketchup. Yeah, acquaintances. That they go no ketchup. That just escapes me. I mean, ketchup. I know that the BEC is a staple in New York, especially over here on the island, but yeah.
No, it's everywhere.
Yeah, but especially over here on the East Coast, I know that we do things right. If you're in Jersey, Taylor ham, I know that they're big on that, but we do bacon over here.
Yeah, let's get real. No, I mean, you want to do ketchup, you want to go hot sauce. I'm not discriminating any kind of bacon, egg, and cheese. Do it up. If you want to throw it on everything bagel, you might even get some more points for that.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe I need my own show on the Food Network. Who knows? Okay. Yeah, and that's going to wrap it up for this week of, I think it's episode 3 of the Sports Chill Football Experience, sponsored by TheSportsChill.com. Fire, fire, fire. Fire, fire, fire. Check us out on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Follow your boys on Twitter as well. I'll send it out when I put up the preview. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, guys. I guess I'll talk to you later.
Well, there's one more thing before we go, before we get our final send-offs in, and I have a bone to pick with Odell Beckham. He's quickly made himself in the last few seasons one of the best players in the league, but he's starting to remind me of another great receiver, Terrell Owens. And the reason, and I know you don't want to hear that. He's played for Philly, he's played for Dallas, but I mean, with the way this guy's starting to throw these tantrums on this sideline, I understand James said before he's a passionate player. I'm all about the passionate players, but there's a fine line between passion and immaturity, if you really want to use that as the word. Sometimes this can overshadow a player's greatness. I know everyone's laughing, they're having a good time because he got hit in the face with the net. That was one of my favorite moments. But even still, with Odell Beckham, I mean, he's got to get things under control. Honestly, he's really got to bring himself back down to earth. And you see McAdoo and some of the coaches, and I think even Eli tried to go over and try to calm him down a little bit. He's got tears streaming from his face, and this is why he's building the reputation that he is. Sometimes it's kind of easy to get under his skin, even though Norman and Beckham behaved themselves on Sunday. But Beckham, he's really got to get himself under control. Not taking anything away from his play on the field. James, I know you want to jump through that computer right now, but I had to get that out.
No, you know what? I'm just gonna let it fly right now because I put my money where my mouth is, and I said the Giants were gonna go into Minnesota and beat the Vikings. So now we're just gonna have to see. And if I don't know if we want to throw out a little bet or anything. I don't really know what I have. Maybe I'll wear an old man mask on the podcast last week if they lose because I really have a good feeling in them, and I love the way Odell Beckham plays football. I really do. I love the intensity. I love that he honestly turns into the Hulk when he gets angry, and I love the passion. If he wants to cry, he can cry. I don't want him getting hurt, like you said, hitting the kicking net. Like, dude, just chill out a little bit. But at the same time, yeah, I love it. I don't know, Mark, what you think about it.
No, I mean, I honestly side a little bit with Dave. I understand. I don't want to see my player crying on the sideline. I don't want to see him walking away from coaches or quarterbacks like that. Listen, you could get heated in the heat of the moment or whatever, but if someone's coming over to you, and I saw Eli come over to him a couple of times and trying to speak some stuff into him, he was getting upset because he was wide open on a couple of balls. Eli didn't get a chance to throw to him. And listen, if he wants to win the game, I understand. If he ever starts turning on his players, that's when it gets a little worrisome. But if he's just someone that has a passion and he just wants to go out there and he wants to win a regular season game in week 3, and if he's that passionate about it, then I understand. And listen, for all the talk about him and Norman, who's going to win the matchup, whatever, the fact that he finished with the numbers that he did, over 100 yards in his catches, and he wasn't even targeted that much. I think you said like 11 targets. Hopefully he would have fed him more, but I was impressed by the fact that he didn't get into any penalties on the field, any stupid penalties. So he's definitely matured from that aspect on the field. That stuff on the sideline is, it's not something I want to see, but as long as it's not carrying over to the field, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it has yet. I really don't. I don't think it's gotten to that point, and I think that Odell is fine. He is so team oriented. You saw him last week when he was talking up Sterling Shepard, telling him to burst at the right time. I think he's the ultimate team player, and and you're right, Dave. Maybe it's not the best move to cry on national television, but
numerous times too. That not his first time, but
that being said, Giants 27. Vikings 3. And that's it for the episode 3 of the TheSportsChill Football Experience. I'm James. That's Mark. You can't see me pointing, and that's Dave. And you guys are doing a great job. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.